There comes a moment in every relationship when you pause and ask yourself, where is this going? Maybe you've started to notice subtle shifts in your partner's behavior, things they used to do that they no longer bother with, or words they used to say that now feel forced or absent. It's a gut-wrenching feeling to suspect that someone you love may not see a future with you. But the truth is, most people don't openly admit when they've stopped envisioning a life together. Instead, their actions begin to speak louder than their words, leaving behind clues that can be easy to overlook if you're too emotionally invested. When someone no longer sees a future with you, they don't always have the courage to say it directly. Instead, they subtly withdraw, creating emotional and physical distance while hoping you'll eventually take the hint. They may still be physically present, but their heart and mind are elsewhere. And while relationships naturally go through phases of ups and downs, there's a big difference between temporary struggles and someone who has already checked out emotionally. Recognizing these early warning signs is crucial. It can save you from investing more time, energy, and emotions into a relationship that's heading nowhere. Ignoring these signs can lead to heartbreak down the line, leaving you feeling blindsided when the inevitable breakup happens. On the other hand, acknowledging the truth allows you to regain control over your happiness and make decisions based on reality rather than false hope. In this video, we're going to uncover 7 shocking clues that your partner doesn't see a future with you. Some of these may be subtle, while others might hit close to home. But by the end, you'll have the clarity to decide whether it's worth holding on or if it's time to walk away and find someone who truly envisions a life with you. They avoid talking about the future. One of the most telling signs that someone doesn't see a future with you is their unwillingness to discuss it. In a committed relationship, partners naturally talk about upcoming milestones, whether it's planning a trip together, discussing career goals, or imagining what life will look like in the coming years. But if your partner consistently dodges these conversations, it's a red flag. You may notice that when you bring up the future, they respond with vague phrases like, "Let's see how things go," "I don't like planning too far ahead," or even a simple shrug. These responses aren't just about avoiding commitment. They reflect uncertainty about having you in their long-term life. When someone truly sees a future with you, they don't hesitate to include you in their plans. They get excited about what's to come and enjoy building a vision together. Another sign is their lack of enthusiasm when discussing big life moments. Whether it's marriage, kids, career moves, or even where you'd live in the future, they seem indifferent or uncomfortable. They may even change the topic or make a joke to deflect. While some people genuinely struggle with long-term planning, a persistent reluctance to even entertain these discussions is often a sign that they aren't envisioning a lasting relationship. If you find yourself constantly initiating these conversations while your partner dismisses or avoids them, it's important to ask yourself why. Are they unsure about what they want, or are they simply avoiding the truth that they don't see a future with you? They don't introduce you to important people. In any serious relationship, meeting each other's family and close friends is a natural step. It signifies that both partners are integrating their lives and see each other as long-term companions. But if your partner keeps you separate from their inner circle, it's a strong sign that they don't consider you a permanent part of their life. You might notice that they dodge opportunities to introduce you to their family. Perhaps they always have an excuse: "It's not the right time," "My parents are too traditional," or "My friends are just really private people." While these reasons may seem valid at first, they become concerning when they persist over time. If someone truly values you and sees a future with you, they want the important people in their life to know about you. Another sign is when they actively avoid including you in social events. Whether it's a family gathering, a close friend's birthday, or even a casual hangout, you always find yourself excluded. They may say things like, "It's just a work thing," or "You wouldn't enjoy it anyway." But deep down, you feel like you're being kept at a distance. If you've been dating for a while and still haven't met the key people in their life, it may be time to question why. Are they truly invested in the relationship, or are they keeping their options open? They emotionally check out. Physical presence doesn't always mean emotional presence. One of the most painful signs that someone no longer sees a future with you is when they start emotionally checking out of the relationship. Conversations that once felt deep and engaging now seem forced or one-sided. They respond with minimal effort, giving short or indifferent answers. If you try to share something personal, they don't ask follow-up questions or seem genuinely interested. You begin to feel like you're talking to a wall instead of a partner who truly listens and cares. Beyond conversations, their general engagement in the relationship starts to decline. They no longer remember little details about your day, your interests, or your struggles. You might find yourself reminiscing about how they used to send thoughtful texts, plan spontaneous dates, or simply look at you with admiration. But now there's an emotional distance that's hard to ignore. You might also notice that they're more distracted when they're with you. Maybe they're always on their phone, disengaged during date nights, or constantly thinking about something else. If it feels like their mind is somewhere else even when they're physically present, it's because it probably is. This kind of emotional detachment is one of the strongest indicators that they're mentally moving away from the relationship. While it's possible they're just going through a personal struggle, it's important to communicate and address the shift before it becomes permanent. They no longer make efforts to impress you. At the beginning of a relationship, most people put in effort to impress their partner. They dress nicely for dates, surprise you with thoughtful gestures, and make you feel special. But as time passes, a healthy relationship evolves into something comfortable, yet still full of effort and appreciation. However, if your partner has completely stopped trying to impress you, it could be a sign that they don't see a future with you. They may no longer care about how they present themselves around you. While comfort is normal, complete indifference isn't. You might notice that they don't plan dates anymore, or that your time together has become routine and uninspired. Compliments, romantic gestures, and affectionate messages become rare. It's as if they've stopped trying to win you over because, in their mind, the relationship isn't worth that extra effort anymore. Another key sign is their attitude toward your happiness. In a loving relationship, both partners enjoy making each other feel valued. But if they no longer seem to care about whether you feel loved, appreciated, or special, it's a serious red flag. The shift from "I want to make you happy" to "I don't really care how you feel" is a painful but clear sign of emotional detachment. Relationships require continuous effort, not just at the start but throughout the journey. If your partner has stopped putting in any effort, it's time to ask yourself whether they're still emotionally invested, or if they've already checked out without telling you. They spend more time away from you. One of the clearest indicators that your partner doesn't see a future with you is when they start prioritizing everything else over spending time together. In the beginning, they may have gone out of their way to see you, making plans in advance and ensuring that you felt valued. But now, work, hobbies, or social outings seem to take precedence, and you're left wondering where you fit into their life. At first, it might seem like a temporary shift. Perhaps they have a busy schedule, an important project at work, or new responsibilities. But over time, you start noticing a pattern. They make plans without including you, and they rarely invite you to be part of their world. Instead of making time for you, they seem relieved when they have an excuse to be elsewhere. They might also start using phrases like, "I just need some space," "I've been really busy," or "I don't have time for anything lately." While alone time is healthy in any relationship, excessive distance can indicate emotional detachment. If they truly saw a future with you, they would actively seek quality time rather than making excuses to stay apart. Pay attention to how they react when you express the desire to spend more time together. If they dismiss your concerns or show frustration when you bring it up, it's a strong sign that they are emotionally pulling away. When someone values a relationship, they make time for it, no matter how busy they are. If they are constantly finding ways to be away from you, it may be because they no longer see you as a central part of their future. They stop solving problems in the relationship. Every relationship faces challenges, but the difference between a lasting relationship and one that's fading is how both partners handle conflict. If your partner has stopped putting in the effort to solve problems, it's a strong indication that they no longer see the relationship as something worth fighting for. In the past, when an argument arose, they may have worked hard to find a solution. They listened, compromised, and reassured you that things would improve. But now, conflicts go unresolved because they don't seem to care enough to fix them. Instead of having meaningful discussions, they might say things like, "I don't want to argue, let's just drop it," or even completely ignore the issue. Another sign is their emotional withdrawal when you express concerns. If you tell them that you feel disconnected or unhappy, they respond with indifference rather than empathy. Instead of reassuring you, they may downplay your emotions or act as though your feelings are an inconvenience. This emotional detachment signals that they no longer feel invested in the relationship's growth. In some cases, they might even become passive-aggressive, showing frustration rather than working toward a resolution. If your partner once cared deeply about making things right but now barely acknowledges issues, it's time to ask yourself why. A person who truly sees a future with you will fight for the relationship, not give up when things get tough. They avoid defining the relationship. Commitment is a fundamental part of a lasting relationship. If your partner avoids defining where you stand, it could mean they don't see a long-term future with you. Instead of having honest discussions about the relationship, they prefer to just go with the flow. At first, this might not seem like a big deal. Some people take time to develop feelings and commit. But if you've been together for a while and they still refuse to label the relationship, it's a sign of avoidance. They might hesitate when you ask questions like, "What are we?" or "Where is this going?" Instead of providing clear answers, they use vague responses like, "Why rush things?" or "Let's not put pressure on this." Another red flag is if they become uncomfortable when you talk about exclusivity. If they dodge conversations about commitment or avoid discussing a shared future, they may not be taking the relationship seriously. A person who truly wants a future with you will naturally want to establish clarity, not keep things in a perpetual, undefined state. Some people fear confrontation, so they avoid defining the relationship to keep things comfortable. They may enjoy your company but have no long-term intentions. This is why it's crucial to pay attention to their actions, not just their words. If they continuously push off serious conversations, it's because they don't see a long-term path with you. If you've noticed this pattern, it's time to ask yourself, are they truly invested in building a future with me, or am I just a temporary part of their life? A woman's love evolves over time. Many men believe that if a woman loves them once, that love will last forever. But in reality, a woman's love is not static, it evolves. The way she feels about her partner today may not be the same way she felt 6 months or a year ago. In the early stages of a relationship, women experience what's known as the honeymoon phase. During this time, emotions are intense, attraction is high, and everything feels exciting. However, as time goes on, that initial rush fades and a different type of love begins to develop. One based on emotional security, deep connection, and admiration. A woman's emotional needs also change as the relationship progresses. In the beginning, passion might be enough to keep her interested. But over time, she starts to seek emotional depth, trust, and long-term compatibility. If a man fails to grow with her emotionally, she may feel disconnected, even if nothing dramatic happens. This is why some men are shocked when a woman suddenly loses interest. They assume things were fine simply because there were no major fights or conflicts. But the truth is, a woman falls out of love gradually, long before she actually leaves. The key to keeping a woman emotionally invested is understanding her evolving needs. A relationship isn't just about maintaining attraction. It's about constantly deepening the emotional connection and ensuring she still sees her partner as someone worth investing in. Why women choose to stay or leave. A woman doesn't stay in a relationship because of obligation. She stays because she still feels emotionally fulfilled. When women choose to leave, it's rarely an impulsive decision. Instead, it's a result of emotional withdrawal over time. There are two main reasons women leave relationships. They no longer feel emotionally connected. If a man becomes distant, stops putting in effort, or fails to nurture the relationship, a woman will start to feel like she's in it alone. They lose respect for their partner. Women need to admire the person they love. If a man becomes complacent, insecure, or lacks a sense of purpose, her attraction will slowly fade. The biggest mistake men make is assuming that as long as there's no conflict, everything is fine. In reality, emotional detachment is far more dangerous than arguments. A woman who fights for the relationship still cares, but a woman who goes silent has likely already checked out emotionally. On the flip side, women stay in relationships where they feel emotionally secure. They trust their partner to be consistent and reliable. Understood, their emotions are validated, not dismissed. Excited, there's still a sense of mystery and growth in the relationship. A man who understands these dynamics can keep the connection strong over time. Relationships don't end because of a single event. They end when emotional investment fades away. The ultimate secret: women want to feel chosen every day. One of the biggest misconceptions about love is that once a woman commits, she no longer needs to feel pursued. In reality, women want to feel chosen every single day. Many men make the mistake of putting effort into the chase but then becoming complacent once they've won her heart. They assume she will always feel the same way. But just like men, women need continuous reminders that they are valued, desired, and appreciated. This doesn't mean grand romantic gestures every day. It means small, consistent actions that show she still matters. Simple things like sending a thoughtful text during the day, making time for deep, meaningful conversations, noticing and appreciating the little things she does, keeping intimacy alive, not just physically but emotionally. A woman who feels taken for granted will slowly start to withdraw. She may not say anything at first, but over time she will start to feel like she's no longer a priority. On the other hand, a man who continuously invests in his relationship, even in small ways, will keep his woman emotionally engaged. She will feel secure, valued, and excited about the relationship, rather than wondering if she's just there out of habit. The true secret to lasting love? Never stop choosing her. When a woman feels consistently chosen, her love will only grow stronger over time. Love is often seen as a mysterious force, something that happens naturally and sustains itself over time. But the truth is, love is not just a feeling, it's an evolving emotional experience that requires effort, understanding, and deep emotional connection. Throughout this discussion, we've uncovered the hidden psychological truths behind how women love. We've explored why emotional security matters more than physical attraction, why women subconsciously test men before fully committing, and why admiration and respect are at the heart of long-term attraction. But now, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. What does all of this mean for you and your relationships? The hidden psychological secrets that shape a woman's love. When we look at love from a psychological perspective, it becomes clear that women don't love the way men do. Their emotions, desires, and decisions about relationships are deeply rooted in biology, experience, and emotional security. Unlike men who often separate love from logic, women feel love on an emotional and intuitive level. This means that a woman doesn't just choose a partner based on attraction, she chooses based on how he makes her feel. Does he make her feel safe? Does he understand her emotions? Does she admire him? These subconscious questions shape whether a woman stays emotionally invested or slowly detaches from the relationship. The men who create lasting connections are those who understand that love evolves over time. They don't assume that just because a woman loves them today she always will. Prioritize emotional security. They make their partners feel heard, valued, and emotionally safe. Continue growing. They don't become complacent but instead, keep improving themselves and the relationship. These hidden psychological truths are the key to building not just attraction but deep, lasting love. The importance of emotional intelligence in relationships. At the core of every successful relationship is emotional intelligence. It's not about being the most attractive, the richest, or the most charming. It's about understanding emotions, both yours and hers. Men who struggle in relationships often lack awareness of emotional needs. They assume that as long as there are no big fights, the relationship is fine. But women need more than just a lack of conflict. They need emotional depth, connection, and continuous effort. This is why the most desirable men aren't always the ones with the best looks or wealth. They are the ones who understand how to create deep emotional bonds. They listen. They adapt. They recognize the changing needs of a relationship and adjust accordingly. If there's one skill that can transform a man's love life, it's emotional intelligence. When you understand a woman's emotions, motivations, and fears, you can build a connection that lasts a lifetime. How understanding women's psychology can transform your love life. For many men, relationships feel like a guessing game. They don't understand why a woman's feelings change, why she suddenly loses interest, or why she stays distant even when everything seems fine. But when you understand the psychology behind love, these mysteries disappear. Instead of wondering what went wrong, you start seeing the patterns and behaviors that shape a woman's emotions. You learn to heavy checkmark recognize when she's emotionally withdrawing before it's too late. Heavy checkmark keep the emotional connection alive even after the honeymoon phase. Heavy checkmark understand what truly makes a woman feel valued and secure. This knowledge gives you a huge advantage in relationships. Instead of reacting to problems after they arise, you become proactive, nurturing the connection, preventing distance, and keeping attraction alive. Should you change for love? The truth about becoming a better partner. One of the biggest misconceptions men have is that they need to change themselves to attract or keep a woman. The reality is you don't need to change, you need to evolve. There's a difference between losing yourself for love and becoming a better version of yourself. The goal isn't to mold yourself into what a woman wants. It's to develop qualities that make you naturally more attractive, emotionally intelligent, and secure. Here's what real personal growth looks like in relationships. White heavy checkmark building confidence without arrogance. Women admire men who are secure in themselves. White heavy checkmark being emotionally present and engaged. Love isn't just about physical presence, it's about emotional connection. White heavy checkmark developing a strong sense of purpose. Women are naturally drawn to men who have ambition and drive. White heavy checkmark continuing to learn and grow. The best relationships happen when both partners evolve together. This kind of self-improvement doesn't just make you more attractive to women, it makes you more fulfilled in life. A man who continuously grows will always be desirable. Final words, becoming the man who truly understands women. Many men struggle in love because they try to figure out what women want, instead of understanding who they are. But when you learn about the psychology of women and love, everything changes. You stop playing guessing games. You stop chasing. You stop feeling confused about why things didn't work out. Instead, you start seeing clear patterns in behavior, emotions, and attraction. You understand why women test men, why emotional security matters more than looks, and why admiration is the foundation of long-term love. And most importantly, you start to show up differently in relationships. You become more confident, emotionally intelligent, and intentional about love. At the end of the day, love isn't about luck, it's about understanding. The more you understand a woman's emotional world, the stronger and deeper your connections will be. So, if you take one lesson from this, let it be this. Become the man who understands women, not just the man who hopes to attract them. That's the true secret to lasting love.